Alright, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble one of the Athena target boxes from start to finish. It's not going to be edited, so we will continue. Just make sure you get all the tools you need. I have two ratchets, 7/16 ratchets, and a wrench, tape measure, just in case an adjustment's needed, and some scissors just to open the box. You only need the scissors to open the box, and then there's one part you need scissors to cut off the what is it called? Zip tie. Open up the box. When you open it up, and again, this is just to supplement the main video. You got a little box in here, we'll get to that in a minute. That's your charger, your backdrop, we'll cover those too. And then kind of lifting it out, I always found you got a couple other loose parts in here. Easy if you pull those out. Just put them off to the side, we'll use them shortly. Target system's pretty easy to put together. I just don't want to bend anything coming out. All right, plastic piece. Yes, we do have somebody shooting today, so we'll have that. Your packet of nuts and bolts. 2 brackets for the base. And then, of course, your base. I don't need the box anymore. No, I'm not going to edit this. We're just going to show it straight as. There are some things I found when doing the when following the video from the manufacturer that I'm going to cover a couple things differently, just because, like I said, this is my, I don't know, 7th or 8th one that I put together, and I come into a little bit of a different system maybe than what they've come up with. Okay, we're just leave that as for now. The first thing, I know they tell you to inventory everything. I will tell you this, I have found where one of the packs didn't contain all of the nuts and bolts that I needed. But I had another 7/16 couple nuts, so we just took them from there. But I do like how they have all of the bags labeled, which does make it really nice. All right, first thing is, of course, I think the video covers this as well pretty good, doing the base. Now remember, it's always washer, then the bolt. I always put 2 on, washer, then the bolt, to do the base. Now, one of the things the video talks about is, grab the right one, is tightening these down. My recommendation, don't tighten them completely until you get the pole in there, because I have found, again, just a couple times where that space of where you're going to put the base pole isn't, once you tighten it down, there's no play, and sometimes you need a little wiggle room. Don't forget your lock washers. All right, these are all 7/16, so it's commonality, not a big deal. So I just put them in finger tight, and we'll do the other side. Oopsie, almost made a mistake. Put the wash on the inside, obviously, for the bolt to protect the wood. This bolt bag has everything, no problems there. And again, I did have one where I was kind of, either they got lost or something, but I could not find them, and it was just three nuts. It was kind of weird. So we will, once this get in loose, like so. Okay, there's the base. That's pretty simple. Now, one thing I will caution you, and I'll bring it closer so you can see. Notice that the holes are a little off. Okay, and that comes into part when you put in the pole. All right. So I'll take the pole. What I do, I have a chair, a rolling chair. You can kind of see the end of it. I take the chair, put this on the end, and then again, just determine which is my low side, like so. Notice how it's not fitting 100%. There we go. And then do that way. I'll have it lean against a chair. Smart thing, look for the bag that says rod. Really not hard. So we have all the parts. I got 4. And here's the 4th. Okay, 4, 4, and 4. We're good. So doesn't really matter. I haven't found a particular reason as to which is which. Just making sure that they're lining up. And again, sometimes this is where this is a case where it's not lining up as easy. Couple things. Take a ratchet, you know, kind of drill it in per se and get that first couple started. That can help. This is where the attitude adjustment could be utilized. I've even actually had one time where I had to go and loosen the bolts from the factory or wherever the manufacturer was and loosen those up just to get enough play in here. So again, it's tricky. It's finding what works at that particular moment to get it all the way through. Try and get it all the way. And like anything else, it will line up. I know people hate this, but guess what? Sometimes that's what you need, sometimes not. At least I didn't bring a sledgehammer. This one and that side's lined up. Now we'll do the other side. Again, put this in. Get it down a little bit. Try not to ruin the teeth because they are important. You gotta have to put the bolts on there. Eventually, one sits on above the other. So you do kind of want to get it to fit in there. And just a little wiggle room. Again, if you tighten down these 2 frames, that will make it a lot more challenging for you to get it in. I will tell you that. So lesson learned there. And maybe. Beat it to death. I figured out. Now I know sometimes people make these, you know, how to do projects and they'll cut and paste it all. I'm just going to go through the whole thing. I've come across different scenarios. Sometimes they popped right in. Sometimes had to wiggle them a little bit. Nothing serious. I think it's just a slight modification in manufacturing, but you know what? It will work. See? That one fell out, so that was easy. And there's one. And there's the other. I'm just going to throw a washer on there. And the nut. Once you get them started, it's usually not too bad. Now, that was quick and easy, but it will slide right back in. You will need, this is where you really do need a wrench. Even though I have 2 ratchets, one of my ratchets are too big to go down to the very bottom one. So we'll use the wrench. I'm just putting these on finger tight. We'll tighten them in just a second. And there's the last one. So on the inside, kind of see there. Actually, I probably shouldn't be on camera for this. Say I don't make these, so just finger tight. And the last one. And the washer doesn't want to fit. If the washer doesn't want to fit, it's going to be really close to the bolt. Might have to slide this over. Put it up here. See, this is a case where, like I said, sometimes you have to make some adjustments. And I think we're going to have to make an adjustment. We're going to have to undo this one piece. And even though it comes from the factory this way, just need a little play into it. We can tighten it up just to get a little play, because don't need a lot. I think. Bolt back in here. And let's see if that gave us enough play, which I think it did. Yep. See, there we go. There's enough play. Do this one. This one's kind of tricky. Just got to tighten it from the back side. And this is where you'll need that wrench. Just hold it down. All right, so now we just go through and just really tighten them all up. So, it doesn't matter if you use a wrench or socket on the outside to want to reach. I didn't find a difference either way. I did find don't really want to crank them down too much. There is a washer on the back side, but it can start going through the wood, or definitely squeezing into the wood. So do that. I haven't found a specific difference whether you tighten which way you tighten it. Well, I'm not going to say one way or the other. I just found that if you tighten before you put that pole in there like that, you could run into complications. Alright. And we'll slide this up here. Just get a better view. Oops, shift it off my chair. I didn't say it was the best system. I just said it was a system. Alright, we'll tighten these down. Actually, we'll switch these. Have these last four. Not a lot. Once you put these bolts in, there's only a couple more. There's only one more bolt after all this, and that's for the camera base, for the camera arm. So it's not a complicated system. Just a couple of nuances that I wanted to highlight for everybody. Or you can do what I do and just kind of figure it out. We'll cover one of the hardest things to figure out. And again, they've done a pretty good job on the video system to putting this together, but there are some, and maybe it's just a change in the manufacturing from when they started to when they actually produced it. I don't know, not involved in that. we go. I don't want to make them where they're flush, where that lock washer is kind of flush. Even though these are metal, I wouldn't crank them down too much. Solid enough. All right, the base is done. Now my table's too big, so let me adjust my camera so you can see. Yeah, no. All right, so you kind of see where it's at. Now, I know the book, it talks about what this piece is actually different than the video they had. Video they had just looked a little different. So I was looking for that thing and I couldn't find it. But I found this. Works the same way. Just this fits on the back side. Pretty simple. You do have to loosen this, or I've always had to loosen it just to put it on the pole. Now it talks about in the video, video that they made, to measure 10 and an eighth of an inch. I don't. Why? Put it on, and I'll show you why I don't stress over that part yet. I always use a rag because this will be greased, which is good. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. This is where I go back to my chair system. Lay that there. Now feed this through. And as long as you have it semi-straight, it should go in. If not, just loosen this up a little bit. There we go. Now I line it up right there on the end. Now this is when I do my 10 and an eighth inch, because now is where I'm tightening it up. And you want the rod flush with the bottom edge of this bracket. And this bracket, 10 and an 8 inches, 10 and an eighth of an inch from the bottom of the wood. Once I get it there, we'll tighten these down a little bit. Okay, make sure it's all flush. And we'll check it before we're done. I mean, you can do it either way. I just found this way worked. I've exacted 10 and an eighth of an inch. Again, this is plastic, so I definitely would not put a lot of pressure onto it. Once you have that, it's pretty simple. Okay, the next thing, put this piece on. I always point it to the back. I don't know which, I just put it to the back. All right, the next is, there's a little zip tie right here with your gear on it. So make sure you can use whatever you need to cut it off. All right, but you don't want to lose the pieces. Keep them in order. Just so I'll bring it up so you can see. Is you have the gear and then a little bearing set. Metal bearing metal. That sits right on top. I actually use this piece for something, and I'll show you what I keep it for. I keep it handy. All right, so we're going to put that to the side, leave it on top. Flip this up. Now, the easy part is these are rubber bands. I just take the rubber bands off the camera arm. Just so you know, or what I believe, there is a little plastic covering over the camera. I don't take that off now because we have not hooked our system up yet. Just merely in the construction phase. We have one more part that's supposed to come in the mail today. Another thing I do, and I don't remember what the camera or what the video had, but I hooked the two-wire prong, that two-wire prong at the bottom where your camera goes in. I hooked that in before mounting the camera. Just get a little bit more play that way. Maybe. Okay, I actually do. Or did I get something weird? There we go. All right. Now, hooking this part in is kind of a little bit of wonky. So what I'm going to do is lay it down, and I'm going to get the bolt out first. Again, I did like how they labeled the bags. That was really that was useful. You didn't have to try to figure out which bolt is which. Now, here's what I recommend. I check to make sure that the nut goes on because I've actually have two of them that either the nut is wrong or the bolt is wrong, but they don't fit. So we're gonna have to fix that. See, and I just hit my bearings, but not a big deal as long as it's metal bearing metal. All right. So we'll stand the camera up. The camera swing arm lines up. You just gotta play with it just a little bit to get it started. When you do that, make sure you put, because it is plastic, so it's going to go washer, bolt, and then washer again, and then lock, washer, then nut. All right. You can kind of wiggle that arm a little bit, and that will do it too. We'll put our washer down. Lock, washer, and then nut. I know it has this like do not over tighten, so don't over tighten. I just make sure it's flush. You know, it's kind of plastic, so I mean, it could bend. All right, so those parts are all done. So we're really pretty close to construction. Now is the trickier part. I'm going to bring this closer so you can kind of see what it is. You line the bottom groove up, and then you line the hole up. Just like so. Now this is where you need that little gear and shaft. Now I'm going to put the gear in first. All right, once I get that pole all the way up, take the gear, get it lined up. Now this is something else I thought was very interesting, was you can actually charge this and the lights will come on in the front a little bit. First time I saw that, that kind of was surprised me. I'd never seen that. So I just get it just a little bit above, like so. Now this is where the finagling comes in. Believe it or not, this is what I use this for. Once you feed this, and you want metal bearing metal, take a little pressure off the top, slide those in, and if they don't, this is where I use this little piece for. And that happens too. Just use it in. Kind of got it. There, one piece is down. You can use my bearings. You can do it from the side. Also have found coming from the top is also beneficial. And it just needs a little bit of adjustment. And we're in there. And we just have one more piece to go. I'm sure there's people that have other ideas. I'm just telling you how it works for me. And see if I can get that in yet. There we go. Just turn the gear. Now, I did actually have one camera system that was missing the gear. So that was kind of, again, I think it was just a manufacturing. This has a reflective part, pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure the reflective part's on the inside. Loosen these up if you need to. Put over that over the top. Make sure where it's flush. And then just tighten your bolts down. All right. Just tighten them down a little bit. Again, I don't see the need to over crank. All it's doing to me is keeping this pole in position. But make sure it's snug. Okay, there's that. All right, we're almost there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the bag. I'm actually saving these bags because these bags are going to become my collection bags. The video talks about that. Another technique I do is I plug it in first and then flip it over and mount it. Give you just enough extra wire to do that. This is your X's and O to tell you the system is ready. These kind of slide on. They did make a design change from the original video that I saw, because all it did was put these on and then you put your little mirror in there. Well, got this in the package and I'm like, what is that for? It took me a little bit, but I figured it out. What it does is this keeps these pieces in closer. So your mirror, which, oh, by the way, has a little plastic film on it. So, finding the corner. There we go. It's not glass, so I wouldn't bend it too much. And it just slides in these grooves right up top. With that. Okay, everything is done. The last thing I want to show you, and this took me a long time, and I wish, is this little spot right there. That's where your SD card, micro SD card, gets plugged in. I will tell you right now, I spent a long time looking down here trying to get it in, and there's nothing for it to connect. Finally, we took it out of the adapter because nowhere else does it show you, but that's where your SD card goes. The last thing to hook up is your power box. Now again, I'm saving the plastic bags, but zip ties and stuff don't have really much need for. They'll go in the trash. All right, power box. Now this power box, again, right underneath, there's a little holder right here. And plugs up in. Some of them I have found actually do not have that set screw that's there, which I thought was interesting. All right, and that just fits right there on the end. I don't, hopefully your people shooting are not that bad of a shot that they're going to hit that power box. They shouldn't. But it just slides, just sits right there. This goes to the bottom, and moving this, this is what the Athena target will look like, and that's it. Thank you.